The views expressed on the following broadcasts do not necessarily reflect those of KHLT, Take 12 Radio, or our affiliates. The opinions on this show should not be considered as medical, psychological, or professional advice and are those of the host, co-host, and guest. Take 12 Radio and KHLT Recovery Broadcasting are not affiliated with any particular 12-step fellowship.
Let me tell you,
this is the place. Have a laugh and save your soul.
well, my friends,
This is the place. Don't have to pledge allegiance or stand in line. No ticket to buy, no paper to sign. You found it. This is the place.
that's right, my friends. This is the place. This is the Take 12 Recovery Radio Show. Anthony is here. Denver is here. And special guest Roger McDermott from Southern California is on the line. The topic this week, guns in the recovery meetings. It's going to be a hot one.
Just don't drink. Walk if you're ready. This is the place. This is the place where I wear no mask. I am who I am, not part of the past. Get a little taste of saving grace. Hook up to the human race. Come on in. This is the place.
Broadcasting to you and for you from the studios of KHLT Recovery Broadcasting on the outskirts of beautiful downtown Albany, Oregon, and via the internet on all major podcasting platforms. It's the world's oldest and original recovery talk and positive music radio station, Take 12 Recovery Radio. I'm your host, the Monty Man. And if you're watching on YouTube, there is Denver.
Howdy.
Yeah, and there is Anthony.
Hola.
Yeah. Hey, guys.
Hello. Howdy.
On the phone with us is our Southern California representative for Take 12 Recovery Radio, Mr. Roger McDermott. Roger, how the heck are you, brother?
I am excellent. How is everybody in Albany, Oregon?
Yeah, we are chipper.
Yeah.
We're chipper. Yeah, are you back in LA now, or are you still in Oklahoma?
No, I arrived back last Saturday night, so I'm back in the saddle in beautiful Huntington Beach, California.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, way to represent. Isn't that what they say? Something like that? Yeah, well, it's good to have you back on the show, my friend. It's been a long time, right?
It has been. I'm really looking forward to it. I wish I were there in person.
Yeah, we do too. And you definitely owe us a visit. So put that in your plans soon.
Absolutely. It will happen. That's a promise.
Absolutely it is. Definitely it is. All righty.
Somebody said, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Actually, yes, I did mean to interrupt.
Oh, boy.
As I was saying, somebody said that it was somebody's sobriety birthday today.
Uh-oh.
So I just put together this little ditty. I went and got the Golden Gnome and some of the other Gnome brothers and sisters that are in the Take 12 Recovery Radio Orchestra, and we put this little song together for our friend Anthony. Here we go.
Oh, boy.
Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, Anthony. Happy 10 years. You got that 10 years. We're so proud of you for making it this far. You've really done so well. You kept your life out of hell. Congratulations to you. Way to go. Celebrating 10 years on the Take 12 Recovery Radio Show. That's it. That's That's all we got. Woohoo!
All right. Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you.
That is awesome.
Yeah,
Happy birthday,
thank-
Anthony.
Late night, Monty.
Yeah. Thank you, Cecil. Thank you, Cecil, very much. And the Take 12 Recovery Radio Golden Gnome Orchestra.
Thank
Wow.
you. Thank you for that.
Cecil, this
10
is
years.
This is the home of the Golden
Congratulations.
Gnome,
Thank you.
Cecil.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations, man.
I appreciate it.
So, and of course, we say that tired old question: how did you do it?
Well, I've heard it a lot lately in the
Speak it up
meetings.
there. Speak up.
I followed the simple suggestions,
Okay.
and I didn't drink in between meetings.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
if you do that, if you don't drink in between meetings and you go to a lot of meetings,
Probably a good chance. And if you're following the
and if
directions,
you follow the directions, it's,
One day you wake up and it's 10 years later.
I was questioning it. I was like, it can't be 10 years, can it? And then I was like, and then I looked at my little placard and I'm like, wait, yeah, okay,
sure.
it is.
Yeah, well, and as our brand new broadcaster to the Take 12 Recovery Radio family, Dr. Rob Kelly says, it is absolutely impossible if you follow the directions the way they're meant to be followed for you to relapse if you're working the program the way it's laid out. And in fact, he even gives a guarantee. If you relapse while working the program the way it's designed, I will give you one of my $100,000 automobiles.
Oh, that's awesome.
So congratulations, Anthony. That is
Thank you very
awesome.
much.
We are so stinking proud of you, and we're gonna come back with the topic. This is a hot one: guns in the rooms, guns in the recovery meetings. The reason I didn't say 12-step meetings is because today there's a lot of recovery meetings that aren't necessarily 12 steps. So any recovery setting where people are meeting in fellowship for a singleness of purpose to recover from whatever, right? Is it ever appropriate? I mean, the survey question that we put out on social media was if a person has a concealed carry permit to carry a firearm, or if they live in an open carry state, is it appropriate for them to have a gun on their person while in the meeting? And then I stated, too, that the answer may be used on our Monday show, which I am going to be reading several of those. So don't go away, folks. We'll be back once again with Anthony and his 10-year birthday, Denver, and our Southern California rep, Mr. Roger McDermott. Don't go away right after this. Check it out.
This is the place. This is the place.
Oh, hey, bud.
Oh.
Where are you headed?
Just gonna hang out.
It's a school night. With Gary and Todd?
Yeah?
Not sure about those two. I've been meaning to ask you. This is tougher than I thought. Is there any drinking going on in this crowd?
No?
I hope not, because alcohol can lead you to say things and do things that you really wish you hadn't. Isn't this what you're supposed to say?
I know.
So if any of your buddies ever pressure you to take a drink, just tell them you promised your dad you wouldn't. I'd do anything to keep you safe.
Okay, I will.
I hope this is working.
I promise. Love you too, Dad.
They really do hear you.
Brian.
Yeah?
So start the conversation even before they're teenagers.
Good idea.
For tips on what to say, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. A message from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration.
Hey, check it out. You can now access all of our shows from a variety of podcasting platforms, including Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, YouTube, Podomatic, and Player FM. Simply search for Take 12 Recovery Radio, and you'll be tuned into the best in recovery broadcast journalism. Also available at take12radio.com.
Well, you asked for opinionated topics. You asked for controversy, so we're not going to let you down. Now, it's back to the Take 12 Recovery Radio Show.
That's right. Thank you, Cecil. All right. On the phone with us today is Roger McDermott down in Southern California. Roger, the whole gun issue, particularly in California, it's huge, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's a big deal in California.
Right.
The the Democrats would prefer that they be. I think they prefer that they be outlawed.
Yeah, it seems that way.
It seems that way.
Yeah. I think it's pretty much the sentiment is the same here in anywhere on the left coast, and certainly up here in Oregon. But for me, as far as a firearm in a meeting, I don't know that the jury is in on that yet in my head. And so it's one of the reasons that I wanted to do this show, because I'm not really sure how I feel. 1 minute I feel one way, and the next minute I feel another way, depending on the circumstances or the things that, what ifs and all that stuff, So I wanted to talk about this. And so kind of from the point of view, I mean, so we're not picking and choosing which 12-step fellowship. Let's just say Alcoholics Anonymous. Let's give that as an example. And one of the things that I wanted to make very clear is Tradition 10 in Alcoholics Anonymous states that AA has no opinion on outside issues, hence the AA name ought never be drawn into public controversy. And from the information pamphlet called the AA Group, where it all begins on page 39, one of the statements, it says that we do not follow up or try to control our members. So I thought that was an interesting statement. We do not engage in any controversy about alcohol. That's interesting, because that's certainly not true. Or other matters. And so it's been said, though, that how can something like this be considered an outside issue if a gun is brought inside? Then does it not become an inside issue? So that's one of the statements that I heard. Now, in California, and I have in front of me right now a list of every state and their kind of overview of their gun laws here. California, prohibited except in unincorporated areas. This is open carry now. Prohibited except in unincorporated areas where the county has not passed any laws prohibiting open carry. That's California. In Oregon, open carry is lawful. In fact, more states, it is lawful than it is not, or has other bullet points attached to it, unless this or in this case kind of thing. But most states, open carry is lawful. So the law says it's okay. That's open carry. And obviously there are laws that pertain to those who are not allowed to have a firearm. I am one of those people. Anthony, you're another one, right? Denver, do you have any laws restricting you from firearms?
I'm able to carry if I want.
You're able to carry. So you could get a concealed carry permit if you chose to do so.
If I chose to, yes.
Right. I could not. Well, I could probably get my gun rights reinstated for about $4,000.
That's what I was told it would cost me, is about $2,000 to $4,000.
Right. Not really interested in spending that kind of money on that. I'll just have Roger travel with me wherever I go.
If I was going to carry, it might not be lawful anyway.
It might not be lawful anyway. Yeah. So I'm just going to start out, read some responses that we got off of Facebook. Our sister station, Clean and Sober Radio, over on the East Coast, Gary over there says, Monty, I'm pro-gun, but I think it is highly inappropriate to bring a weapon to a 12-step meeting. There's absolutely no reason for it, Gary says. Timothy Brammer says, if they have a concealed carry permit, then I shouldn't know if they do or do not have a gun on them in a 12-step meeting. It's none of my business, he says. If they desire to open carry in a 12-step meeting, then they can kick rocks. That's Timothy. Mike Lindsay says they can only open carry in a 12-step meeting if Doug cannot pronounce anonymity correctly.
Oh, man. That's horrible.
I love that one.
Yeah. Well, Mike Lindsay is a recovery comedian, so I would expect nothing less from Mike. Dave Fleming, one of our co-hosts on the Entitled to Overcome Solutions for Life Today show, the third Monday of the month, he chimed in. He said, yes, it's appropriate unless posted not to by the state, same as in church. At my Minnesota home church, probably half the congregation, including the pastor, carry at church. It deters criminals from doing anything. Look at the cities like Chicago where guns are banned, and as soon as there were murders and other crimes involving guns, it went way up. Guns don't kill people. Mentally ill people kill people. Besides, if I was carrying, I wouldn't tell anyone anyway. I don't throw that many people. I don't know that many people, if any, who advertise they are carrying. David Luce says if they have a concealed carry permit and the gun is not visible in the open, then there should be no problem since the gun is not going to be seen. I'm sure there are more than a few criminals who have brought their non-permitted weapons into meetings and no one ever knew about it. If it is just an open carry state where anyone can do it just because they can, then it should not be allowed at all, since it may make others uncomfortable and they either don't come into the meeting or they leave the meeting and then they don't get to hear the message. People with a concealed carry permit have genuine cause to carry, either personal protection from credible threats to their person or, like in my case, for use on the job. I would catch meetings while I would be out in the field. I would never leave my loaded weapon inside my car unattended under any circumstances. It is for safety and also liability. If it were stolen out of my car and used in a robbery, I could be held liable since I left it unattended inside my vehicle. No one ever knew when I had my gun on me because there was never a reason to show it or even talk about it in the meeting. That's David Luce. Sound like he might be part of law enforcement or something. Yeah. So that's just a couple. We've got some more that we'll read later. Denver, what's your take on this?
Oh, man. I kind of want to stay silent about it, but
no, you're not allowed. Not allowed.
But I realize I'm on the radio.
I like it.
Roger and we discussed this a little bit. I don't have a problem with people that carry weapons.
Yeah.
If they're stable, I don't see a problem.
How would you know if they're stable?
We don't know that. That's where the gray area comes in. When are people stable enough to carry a weapon and not get flipped with their 38? You know, if you walk in and you slam it down on the counter showing your weapon, that's probably somebody that's not stable. I know a lot of folks that carry weapons, and I never know they have them on them other than the fact that I know them, and they do.
Sure.
You don't see them. We don't pull weapons out when you're carrying them. So as far as people carrying them into a meeting,
doesn't bother you.
Never has affected me.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, with this day and age,
yeah,
I might feel more comfortable if I knew my partner over here had something to back me up if things got out of hand.
In case something happened?
In case something happened.
Yeah.
So
move your mic boom over this way and then turn your mic toward, there you go, so we can see your beautiful face.
Oh, man. Don't know about all that.
Anthony, what do you think?
So that's in the Constitution.
Okay, pull your mic up to you. You got to be eating your mic there, buddy.
Like this?
Yep, there you go.
Okay, so our forefathers put that in the Constitution for a reason, in my opinion.
The right to bear arms,
yeah,
you're talking about?
the right to bear arms.
Okay.
And
now there are some that would suggest, and it's laughable, but that would suggest that bear arms means it's limited to keeping them on your own property. I heard that recently. I don't know how they get that out of there.
I'm not sure I agree with that.
I don't agree with that. But anyway, go ahead.
I have seen firearms in the meeting, but not because they were open carrying, because they had that in their bag, and I'm kind of nosy, and when people reach into their bag to grab a book or something, I'm like, oh.
You look?
Yeah, of course.
Really?
I'm nosy.
Sneaker.
So, and I've noticed
sneaker.
And I've noticed that there was a firearm in there. Does that make me feel uncomfortable? No, because I'm not sure why. Because I know that when I meet somebody, I have I get feelings of, like, is this person threatening to me? Should I be cautious around this person?
Okay.
Or not? And it's only happened once or twice that I've actually known that the person has been carrying in a meeting, and it's not. If that's what they want to do, that's their choice. I do know people that carry concealed, and I've asked before, like, hey, are you carrying? They're like, always assume that I'm carrying.
Sure.
Assume. I like that word.
And I'm like, oh, and I go, so you don't always carry? He goes, always assume that I carry.
Interesting response.
And
Yes.
I'm like, okay.
Ken Eder responded on Facebook, said, I would think that this is for the group to decide. I don't know if he's saying that we shouldn't be talking about it on the show, or if or if this is just his opinion about, is this a group conscious thing or not. Regardless, we are talking about it on the show. So Roger, chime in there, brother.
I think it's a very meaty topic, and it should generate a lot of discussion. My first thought when thinking about this is that I don't operate in a sense of fear, so I never think about if someone's carrying or not carrying. Why would I?
Right.
Second of all, I never think about that at church. I've never thought about it in a meeting, and while I don't now, I frequently think about I just haven't taken the time to do it, to get a permit.
Concealed carry permit.
But having said all that, it's an interesting question whether or not it's appropriate in a meeting. And I think if it's appropriate in the state and the community, then why wouldn't it be appropriate in the meeting? And I think ultimately when you distill this all down after all the discussion on both sides of the coin, ultimately it comes down to a group conscience thing for the meeting. Because, that's what needs to be decided. If the meeting group conscience thinks it's appropriate, then it's appropriate. And I'm good with that.
So does the group conscience trump the Constitution?
Well, does the group conscience control the meeting?
I'm going to go with Roger.
It's
on
not
this.
I don't think it's a constitutional question. If you're getting down to that, there's a separate issue here.
Right.
How the comfort of the group, the group conscience could decide to do what they're going to do. And no, it doesn't trump the Constitution. It has nothing to do with the Constitution, in my humble opinion. It's just a matter of how do we operate within this meeting room or this meeting area or whatever.
Right.
And you vote on it, and then everybody's either good or not good with it. I don't know how else because there is no legislating.
Yes.
You know what I mean? There's no governing board. It's like, how does everybody in this meeting that we all respect that come to this meeting think about it, feel about it? And ultimately, that's what it comes down to. No, it doesn't trump the Constitution. Surely not, nor the local law.
Right. Right. So I say that tongue in cheek because I know there's going to be right fighters out there. That's what they're going to say. They're going to be very adamant that they have every right in an open carry state to open carry, or if they have a concealed weapons permit, to have a concealed weapon in the meeting, whether people know about it or don't know about it. And it's their right to do so. And just because this is an AA meeting, NA meeting, whatever meeting, you can't tell me I can do something that's constitutionally legal for me to do. And there's going to be right fighters out there that are going to do that. And part of me, a large piece of me, wants to say, shame on you. But part of me gets it too.
Why would you say shame on you? Why would you say that?
Because I think it is a group conscience issue.
Okay, well, there you go. My retort to that, if someone said that, then if you're not happy with the group conscience, you don't want to abide by it, then find another meeting.
Right. Right.
It's
like
real
that
simple.
answer.
Go to one that's more comfortable with it.
Now, if group conscience says we have no problem with that, then there's no problem with it.
Right.
Exactly.
So Tom Storm says, recovery recording artist Tom Storm says, good question, Monty. If there's nothing illegal about it, or the meeting place doesn't have rules against it, I imagine it's a topic for group conscience for those groups where it is concern. Some will be outraged if they can't bring their weapon to a meeting. Some will rejoice. Might need a new designation in the meeting book. No weapon meeting. And he put smiley face. AA went through a similar division when smoking started to be outlawed in most meetings. Remember that? Oh, that was a hoot, wasn't it? Resentment and a coffee pot has started many a meeting.
Oh my goodness.
Guy Stack says, if they are concealed, then you wouldn't know. I personally don't care if someone open carries. Obviously, I would expect them, as a responsible gun owner, to follow state, local, and building mandates. Dave Tagon, our friend Dave, says, seems to me that an issue as potentially contentious as carrying weapons into a meeting would violate the first tradition of common welfare, at the very least. What do you think about that, Roger?
How do you define common welfare?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. I don't have an issue with it. First of all, if they have a concealed permit, no one's going to know they're carrying, and it should never be an issue.
Right.
Correct.
If they have an open permit and they, it's on their belt, I don't have an issue with it.
Yeah.
And I don't see that it's an interesting discussion. It's like one of those things that you bring up for a debate.
Right. It certainly is. Ezekiel Hill says, yes, it's okay. Nick Morgan says, I would say yes, especially in today's crazy anti-police atmosphere where criminals are running amok. Ken Efron says, it takes an unstable mind with a will to do harm to take another man's life. It takes a protective heart with courage and fortitude to save another's life by taking one. God knows this, for war has existed among humans since the beginning of time. It is a good thing or a bad thing if responsible people that have had the training and received the permits to carry a gun do so in churches, family gatherings, and an AA meeting. I can only answer that for myself and myself only. I saw a video where a young man walked into a church and started shooting people. He killed 2. He could have killed a lot more if were not for other church members carrying a handgun with them into church. That said, for me, I would rather be the guy with the ability and the tools to protect people, be it in a church or AA meeting, than not. This needs to be the decision of the people of the group, house, church, or backyard party. If even one person does not feel comfortable with a member carrying a gun, either that member has to leave or the one offended must go.
That's really well said.
I love the way that was
I
written.
agree with everything he said.
Yeah.
He goes on to say, we protect our sobriety with the big book and or a Bible, and it's not okay to do the same. Is it not okay to do the same to protect the people with a gun if someone with bad comes in and starts taking lives?
That's a smart man right there.
That's really profound and well said.
Yeah. Ken has sponsored the show over the years. Thank you, Ken, for your comment. So here's an interesting piece of literature that comes from 2019 in Columbia, Wisconsin. One man is dead after shooting in Columbia's 5 Points. I guess that's the name of the area. Police say it happened when a man tried to rob people in an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. Police say just before 11 p.m. Saturday, 18-year-old, and I won't say his name, walked into an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting at the ACOA club, pulled out a handgun, and demanded money. That's when another AA member pulled out a gun of his own and shot first. So this speaks to that argument, right, that we've all heard, that if there was nobody permitted to have a handgun in any setting, right, who would be there to defend the people from the guy that was shooting at everybody?
I think it's a great question.
Yeah, because there's a number of ways to take a person down without using a gun, but then again, depending on how the criminal is using the gun, there may be only one way, and that's with a gun. I mean, it's such a fluid thing.
You use the word permitted.
Yeah.
Criminals, they don't need permitted.
No, they don't.
They're carrying a weapon right off the get-go. So, like I said, somebody in a meeting or wherever, I don't care wherever, grocery store, whatever, it is, in my opinion, it's okay to have a little backup there.
Yeah.
So, a criminal's going to rob you and shoot you, and if there's somebody over here with a weapon, please use it.
What do you think, Roger?
No, I completely agree. I would, as our friend who, was his name Ken?
Yes.
As he so aptly said, I would much rather be the man in church or whatever the setting might be that would be the one protecting more people from getting killed or harmed.
Thank you.
I mean, I don't see how you argue against that. And another thing, if a criminal's trying to perpetrate a crime, the person that would be carrying is not a criminal. They would be protecting people. They would be permitted, and they would be protecting people. And I see no issue with that whatsoever.
Gotcha.
In fact, I would welcome it and fully support it.
Yeah. This is an article, and I thought this was really well written. Let's see what you guys think about this. Anthony, I'm gonna ask your opinion on it first. So think about this as I'm reading. This comes from an article from the Albuquerque AA Intergroup Central Office newsletter called Pass It On. This was written August 2016. The question is, should we have open carry guns in AA meetings? And it reads as follows. Here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, several AA groups have been wrestling with the issue of allowing open carry guns and weapons in the meetings. By some, this has been called an outside issue, stating that the only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. In my not so humble opinion, fundamental safety in an AA meeting is not an outside issue. I would agree with that. He goes on to say an AA meeting must be perceived by those attending and by the community at large as a safe place. The visual image of a gun on a hip does not help create that impression. A visible gun does what is intended. It intimidates. In a place offering safety, recovery, and healing to people who come to AA with all sorts of trauma, anger, emotional instability, and trouble, the visual presence of loaded weapons on belts, coupled with statements of explosive anger by people carrying those guns, as I have heard in group sharing, creates a less than safe environment of recovery. We in AA need to hold a place of safety and neutrality for people who arrive in states of fear, confusion, depression, and anger, as was done for me when I arrived 31 years ago. Our primary purpose in AA is not the Second Amendment. It is to stay sober and help other alcoholics achieve sobriety. To me, it seems self-serving in the extreme that the folks insisting on their right to open carry cannot consider the impact of that on other alcoholics, many of them victims of gun violence and abuse, and to have the common courtesy to respect the first tradition. Our common welfare should come first. Apparently, this issue has surfaced in other states. In one case, a shooting did occur, and the headlines read, "Shooting at AA meeting did nothing to help AA as a whole, creating negative impressions both inside and outside the AA community." Quote, "It can't happen here," end quote, is a common aspect of denial. Opening the door to emotionally unstable people to carry weapons is a slippery slope. Earlier in my sobriety in California, I had a guy unprovoked pull a knife out and directly threaten me up close. We were able to take him down amidst comments that he was just a crazy guy. Well, the incident speaks for itself. Add a gun to that scenario. If this is an issue for a group conscience, then so be it. Yeah, and then he goes on to say, again, that he feels like it's a slippery slope in a place where we are supposed to be creating a safe haven for the recovering alcoholic. And that was written by Peter H., Albuquerque, New Mexico. What do you think, Anthony?
open carry. I could see how he went. What he was saying about people who have been victims of crimes with a gun,
Right.
and or weapon, and how that would make them feel uncomfortable. And yeah,
He makes some good points.
He does
doesn't
make
he?
some good points. He does. He does. I agree with him on a lot of that.
It's difficult.
It's
a difficult.
It's a tough one. Yeah,
topic.
it's a tough one. Yeah, for sure. I almost said, maybe it should only be allowed as concealed, and then I'm like, no, and yeah, that's a really tough one because, it's just tough.
What do you think, Denver?
Oh,
Think he makes some good points?
yes, he made some solid points. I mean, their weapons can make certain folks uncomfortable. I grew up around firearms. I'm not uncomfortable around them, but the people I was with were stable enough to, not get crazy with them. Nowadays, there's a lot of folks that are, I don't know, things are going crazy here in the world. So I know in my meetings that I've been to, I become part of the family, and I would be comfortable with them all having a weapon. I would.
Yeah.
Because we were probably out shooting the night before somewhere.
Right.
It just, I'm very comfortable around weapons. I don't know where we can find that level of you're stable enough to have a gun and you're not. I don't know where that level's at or how we're ever going to achieve it. But for the most part, the folks I know, the folks I deal with, I'm not out doing the criminal life. So I don't have people carrying guns wanting to shoot people.
So with more and more people purchasing firearms today,
There's a lot of them.
yeah, I mean, you can't even can't even keep the shelves stocked at most sporting goods stores with ammo, right?
I was over at the sporting goods store the other day, and the line was a mile long, and they weren't buying fishing lures.
Right.
All right.
Right. So with more and more people doing this, Roger, what do you think about if there's a group conscience that says we don't want firearms in the rooms, and the group votes on that, that would mean concealed or open carry? Would it be appropriate to put a sign on the door that says no firearms allowed, group conscience?
I suppose it would. I wanted to harken back to that last note that you read. I agree with a lot of what he said. However, the headline that said AA shooting in AA,
right.
If that's the same shooting that you're referring to, I think you could make the very opposite point of what he was saying. If the shooting was protecting him because some guy came in banishing a weapon that was going to rob him and somebody else took him down, then wouldn't you be more secure with someone who had a permit to carry?
I would.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I would too. So the headline may or may not have been misleading. It may have been referring to the same thing. It may have said, well, a person who had a permit to carry took down a criminal in the meeting of AA.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it ultimately comes down to group conscience. And
I do too.
like I said, I don't know how else you'd decipher, and then people choose whether they want to continue to go to that meeting or start their own.
Sure.
I think ultimately it's that simple because it's a very complicated issue.
Yeah. Yeah. And
But I am not concerned or fearful or upset with anybody having an open carry or a concealed carry. I think it's absolutely 100% fine.
So if you were to go to Prescott, we know this because we've been there several times. People are walking around the streets, open carry. I mean, they got rifles stringed across their backside. They got handguns. They got 6-shooters, man, on both sides of their hips. They walk around downtown like that all the time, and I'm sure that they, attend AA meetings like that. I'm
absolutely comfortable with that.
I don't have a problem with that.
Yes,
I don't have a problem with that. I mean, they're open carrying in the bars, for crying out loud. We ate lunch in one, right?
I loved it.
Where it's like even celebrated. You know, there's a guy with spurs on.
For them, it's lifestyle. It's cultural and it's socially accepted.
Yeah, it's cultural.
That's the community they live in. Yeah,
it's a lifestyle there. So
yeah. So personally, for me, I have to tell you, there was a time in my life where guns creeped me out. I was never against the right to bear arms ever. I've always been pro that the right to bear arms, but personally, I just didn't like guns. They just kind of creeped me out for a long time. They don't creep me out anymore, and I think one of the reasons is our friend, and Roger, you know him, Marco from Arizona. I went shooting with Marco and got to know some firearms, some AKs, some handguns, and so forth, the Glock, and as I got to know the weapons and how to operate them properly, they don't creep me out anymore. They just don't. I also don't live in fear. I know people that concealed carry. I don't know anybody that open carries, at least not around here. But I know people that conceal carry. It doesn't bother me in the least bit whatsoever. I also don't live in fear. But that's me. Denver?
This carry thing, it's really the people, the folks that you are dealing with. If you're in a criminal atmosphere doing wrong things, maybe you should be in fear of a gun. But normal folks, I'm not in fear of them. They carry a weapon, it's fine. They're not out here to shoot anybody. It's for protection. So, yeah.
Actually, I'm no more concerned about my father-in-law having a concealed weapon than I am some guy walking around with a machete strapped to his leg. In fact, I'm probably more concerned about the guy with the machete.
Exactly.
Because, I mean, what do you do? What do you got a machete strapped to your leg for?
Yeah, that would be unusual.
Yeah. But there's people that do that. There's knife freaks out there. They go to knife shows. What were you going to say, Anthony?
To live in fear is a scary place to live.
It is.
Yeah.
And I too choose not to live in fear. And sometimes I do get afraid, but that's, it's, I don't know, if it's concealed, okay. If you're open carrying, okay. I would hope that there would be the group conscience thing. I like that idea too.
Yeah, I do too.
But I'm not sure. Yeah, no, I like the group conscience idea. That's because that's a
that's part of Alcoholics Anonymous, right?
It's your family.
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't normally attend meetings where, like, some meetings when you attend you're like like I feel like a cat being petted backwards.
Right.
And some meetings I'm like, oh, home,
Sure.
And so yeah, if you don't feel right because they allow open carry or whatnot, then you're free to find one that you are comfortable with, and that's a gift. That's a gift.
Yeah. And I would hope that folks that do have concealed carry permits, if the group conscience is that you don't have a firearm in the meeting, I would hope that they wouldn't cheat, and I would hope that they would honor that.
Right.
I really would, but I know some won't.
Right.
I myself personally, if it was legal for me to have a weapon, I would definitely have a concealed carry permit.
Mm-hmm.
If it was legal for me to do so. But if the AA meeting that I was attending, or any AA meeting that I was attending or visiting, I would probably ask. If I was a person that carried all the time, before I went into the meeting, I'd just ask them. And if they said we would rather that you didn't, then I wouldn't. Now I'm kind of like that other guy though. To leave it in my car, if I'm out of town, that might be a kind of a sticky thing. I don't know. But I think it comes down to, am I going to respect the meeting? Am I going to respect the group conscience of that meeting? And I think God will honor that. I really do. I got to tell you, if I was just to be totally honest, if I was sitting in an AA meeting and it wasn't Prescott, Arizona, if it was California or even Oregon, and 3/4 of the people were sitting around, with Glocks on their belt, and a rifle slinged across their shoulder, I would feel a bit uneasy, to tell you the truth. Not in fear, but it would just it would creep me out a little bit, And I can see where somebody who was emotionally unstable or who had been a victim would totally just go, no, I can't do this. I don't know. Roger? Help.
Yes.
Help.
Well, I just believe that ultimately the only way you get a resolution to this topic is it has to come down to the group conscience.
Yeah.
Because first of all, you're never, what you just stated, you're never going to find a California or Oregon meeting with people all packing open.
You're just not gonna. Yeah.
But it's not going to happen. So that would make anybody uneasy in Oregon or California. Like you've just walked into a militia meeting.
Right.
So. Right. But I think it's a great topic for discussion, and I think some of the points that you read were really, really well stated. And but like I said, I think it comes down to the group conscience of the meeting, and someone either is pro or con, then go to another meeting. I think it's pretty much that simple.
TJ Johnson chimed in right at the last minute this morning. She said it's a very gray area, and honestly, it's going to be a 50-50 debate with anyone these days anymore. To be honest, I'm not for it, but who am I to be against it? Especially if they believe in it. Boy, that sounds like a rap song. I'm not for it. Who am I to be against it? Especially if they believe it. It's a double-edged.
Don't
go
there.
It's a double-edged.
Don't go there.
It's a double-edged sword question that no one will be right or wrong, just people's individual beliefs. I've jokingly said to Denver, I said, well, that's not true. I'm right all the time, so I will be right about this. And this is where I'm right about it. The jury's still out with me. And so I really don't have any other way other than to lean against the group conscience. Because I can't.
I think that's the only appropriate answer.
I think it is.
Yeah.
I think it is.
I just have one question.
Yeah.
When are you gonna release your album? That was a pretty good rap there.
Did you like that?
I like it. Yeah, like June maybe.
I'm not for it. I'm not against it. Well,
I think Cecil should do it, Monty.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, Cecil to take
No,
the orchestra
it's
should
not.
bring out a rap album. Yeah.
Well, Cecil actually has an entire album of Cecil songs.
Don't open that can.
Yeah. We have that
God
available.
save us.
Yeah, it's everything from Billy Joel to the Eagles. Yeah, so it's interesting though. Let me see if I can find that again. Where did it go? Well, that's weird. Okay, there it is. Where she said, to be honest, I'm not for it, but who am I to be against it? Kind of speaks to the indecisiveness of a lot of people today, right?
Right.
And so this is where, when I can't really make a decision, we're leaning on the group conscience is a blessing to have that, because then nobody's the bad guy.
Right.
It's just a group conscience. It's just
It's
just
not
what
even
it is.
a right or wrong question.
No.
It's like,
Yeah. So I mean,
and if we're for all of us that have been in AA for a while, that should not be an issue.
right. Oh, you mean the group conscience thing?
The group conscience, or arguing about some
Right.
point having to be right. I you know what? I fired myself from that person a long time ago.
Sure.
I like that.
Sure. If it's not enough to know in your heart if you really are right about something, if that's not enough, and you got to bulldoze people with it, then maybe you're not right.
Amen.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
I don't have to be. It's not about being right. It's about doing right. And that's part of the whole story of recovery.
Very, very good. Well, this has been an exciting topic.
It's not finished.
Yeah, no, I'm sure we'll get emails. So please, if you want to chime in on this, we'll be glad to revisit this if you'd like to comment. If you're following us on Podomatic, all you got to do is hit the comment thing and type it in there. If you're following us on YouTube, you can comment on YouTube as well. Otherwise, you can email us at Take12Radio. That's TAKE, the number 12, radio at Comcast.net. If you'd like to help sponsor our show, we are in definite need of sponsors right now. We have a couple, and we need more. So if you see value in Take 12 Recovery Radio and you'd like to be part of that, our partnership, please let me know. Just drop me an email at Take12Radio at Comcast.net, and we can talk about it. Our closing song this week is by Elizabeth Edwards. She is a recovery recording artist, and we're going to play that here in just a second. But Roger, thanks for joining us today, buddy.
My pleasure. This is way overdue, Monty. We have to do it more often.
Absolutely.
I want to be your local once a month or whatever it is guest host.
That would be great. Yeah. Let's talk more about that. Anthony, happy birthday, my friend.
Thank you again. Yeah.
Yes, happy birthday, Anthony.
Yeah, 10 years. So Anthony, little be notes to you, Roger. Anthony is Marsha and I's godson.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Anthony, I'm really sorry.
Oh man.
No, merely in jest.
I like it.
That's funny. All right. Okay. Elizabeth Edwards is the author of this song. It is called Clean. Here's Elizabeth.
Locked inside a lonely life that I didn't want to live. Misfit and a rebel child, I was restless in my skin, always searching for the substance that could bring me some relief. But now that's over, 'cause I'm sober and clean. With a little bit of patience, forgiveness heals the pain. I'll keep working on the wreckage, the resentment and the shame. It's progress, not perfection, on this road that sets us free. The worst is over, 'cause I'm sober and clean. I'm no angel, I'm no saint, but I'm willing to go to any lengths. I'm living out these promises I so clearly see. When I change, my world will change with me. There are no broken people, there's only broken hearts. When I learned to feel the feelings, my world didn't fall apart. Now I fill my soul with substance, and I'm humbled to my knees. He watches over, keeps me sober and clean. He watches over, keeps us sober and clean. Sober and clean. The worst is over. Sober and clean.
The beautiful voice and recovery music of our friend Elizabeth Edwards. For more of her great recovery-focused music, visit her website at elizabethmusic.com. take12radio.com. A very special thank you to our Southern California representative for Take 12 Recovery Radio, Mr. Roger McDermott. Of course, our co-host, Denver. And once again, happy sobriety birthday to our co-host, Anthony. Good job, my brother. Very good job. All right. Well, you heard it here on the Take 12 Recovery Radio show. Guns in the meetings, guns in the recovery meetings. Pretty controversial. I don't know. Maybe it's not as simple as what we discussed. Maybe there's more to it than that. But we took our best shot at this topic. And if you've got a topic that you would like to have us discuss here on the air, please email us at Take12Radio. That's TAKE, the number 12, radio at Comcast.net. And let us know. We would love to consider your topic on our show. Until our next broadcast, this is the Monty Man along with the Take 12 Recovery Radio family, and we are wishing God's perfect serenity for you.
Come on in. Come on in.
This has been a broadcast of KHLT Recovery Broadcasting.
This is the place.
Kitty, 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 kitty. Meow, meow, meow.
Woof, woof.